Alright, so since Syrocraft is growing in size, basically it actually has this really long story to it on how this server actually came to be and everything. So I mean, this is our spawn area, and we had a lot of other people on earlier, but we just sort of I don't know. I think we just broke recently. Like last week, a couple weeks ago, we broke our 100th player on the server. We got that, and we got that achievement. And I don't know, it's got to be over 200 now. But basically, it's got a really long story. So I'm going to show you guys sort of how this server came to be, because so many people ask about all this stuff that we talk about, because me and pretty much me, the owner, and all the other elites and a lot of the players actually come from this other server called Suitcraft, and I'm actually gonna go and show you that because they have the old world save up for download since the server sadly died. Alright, so this is the spawn in Suitcraft, and it was a long time ago. This was probably the first thing I actually saw on the server, which was actually the first thing a lot of people saw on the server, which is Northgate. As Northgate, because everyone always was like, yeah, we gotta go out Northgate, and then they saw this, and then all the builds are east, south, and west, and there's not really a whole lot that's actually north. So I sort of just happened to show up on the server. Actually, it's actually my brother's friend ran the server, and he sort of yeah, there's a whole bunch of terrible builds, and Fraps is probably gonna tick out in a minute, but basically he's not supposed to be on my Minecraft account, and all of a sudden I see on my multiplayer list was Adrian server. I was like, well, what's this? This is obviously not supposed to be there. So I came in, I'm like, okay, this is obviously Timmy's friend server, because I logged in and everyone's like, oh, are you Timmy? Hi, Timmy, how's it going? I'm like, I'm not Timmy. I'm his brother, and I'm very mad because he's not supposed to be on my Minecraft account. He should get his own. And so I just kind of logged in like that. And so I just basically left. I went all the way out there, and I was like, alright, I'm going to get all this stuff together, and I'm just going to grief the server. And now we're running a server, isn't that great? But basically, I did that. I went all the way out there, and everyone's asking, why'd you go so far out there? And I was like, because everything around spawn looks awful. I'm not building near anyone, and not telling them that I was going to grief them. So I built my little town out there, and one day someone says, oh yeah, we've got the best town on the server, and I said, okay, well, if it's the best town on the server, where's it at? And they said, oh yeah, you can just type /warp ddna. And ironically, right when I it's awesome, this is just such perfect timing, right when I finish that introduction, here we are in ddna. Oh my god. So the first thing I saw in ddna was I was here, and I saw, okay, well, ddna, alright, we're in ddna. Okay, I typed /warp ddna, it's the best town on the server. I looked around and I was like, this isn't really natural, because I usually build things natural, and I just come down and I'm like, no, this is not the best town. If this is the best town on the server, this is awful. I saw all this crap. I'm like, what is this? And so this is ddna. We talk about this on the server, on our current server, all the time, and this is the worst town on the server, but they were trying to pawn it off as the best town on the server. A little history about ddna is ddna used to be just this sort of walled off area in here, and they started to expand it, and I believe they expanded to north side first. Is this north? Okay, yeah, they expanded north side first because I know they did this because they had the walls there. They just sort of took it, and then they tried to make a docks, but they failed at it, so they didn't do that. And if you notice, it's just all cobblestone boxes and glass. And then they made west side, and they have this garbage over here, which everything looks like it's terrible. Basically, then what happened was one of the citizens of ddna, Alastus, got mad at the owners. Like, I don't know what they were arguing about, but he argued about something, and he's like, oh yeah, well, you know, I'm gonna go make a town, and we're not gonna be tyrants like you. And so he basically just left to make his own town. Where did he put it? Right outside of ddna. And what did he call it? rrna. ddna stood for something. That stood for, everyone thought it was just DNA with an extra D. So that's where this other guy got the town. RNA with 2 R's, rrna. But actually ddna stood for like Derek, Danny, and Austin. But nobody seems to know that. So that's where ddna came from. I forget the names exactly, but they were just like the first names of all the owners of that place. So basically, this was rrna, and he started building, and ddna and rrna started having wars, and they started griefing each other, and then eventually they made up, and rrna joined ddna. So this is now the east side of ddna. Yeah. And they just sort of built that. I can't remember when the mountain was built, but ddna, the owner, Barney Bad, he wanted a mountain. So the co-owner built a mountain for him. And nobody could figure out how to get to the top. It is possible to get to the top without building a giant cobblestone pillar all the way up there, but nobody could figure it out. I have personally climbed the mountain several times, but nobody else has, so they built those things, and the mountain looks awful now. I don't know what this giant pink thing is, but if someone could tell me what it is, great. But basically, that is ddna. They also started a monopoly. They tried to monopolize every other town on the server. Later on, after they said, oh yeah, this is the actual town on the server, this is the best town on the server, I saw this, I was like, alright, you know what, I'm not griefing the server anymore, there's nothing to grief, I'm gonna build my own town, and I'm gonna show everyone up. And I created Caledon. Caledon is pretty much the same in our server nowadays. It's yeah, I'm probably not gonna show it, but if you want to just log into the server, you can type /warp-adventure, and if you follow the tutorial and the quest, you will eventually end up in Caledon, which is the first city. Actually, the first town you start in is Parma, and then you go to Caledon. But basically, yeah, that's it. This bridge, I'm not sure if I'm gonna make it or not. Oh, okay, well, there's the thing. A lot of people started wanting to make their own towns, and what do these signs say? City of Venom, the city of ddna is behind you, city of Starblast. Okay, well, they started a monopoly, and this was the town of Starblast. It never really got anywhere, I don't think. It used to be so pretty here, actually. It used to be such good land, but then they just decided, I'm gonna make the ground cobblestone, and I'm just gonna build a frickin' stone wall around the whole thing. And this is what you're left with. So, their town looked a lot better, but, I mean, Like, if you just took the, like, all this is crap anyway, but if you took that and put it in, like, a natural setting, it would actually look not horrible. Oh my god, someone who can actually build a roof. I'm so proud of them. Minecraft man. Good job, Minecraft man. Did I see diamonds? Some diamonds. But yeah, this is this town. And basically, this is the town of Starblast. And they made that, and I think Starblast was allied with Venom, which was another town. Basically, they were allies, and they were the ddna saw the owner, Barney Bad. He saw that he's losing valuable customers, valuable citizens of ddna. To these other towns, so he decided, I'm gonna start a monopoly. So what he did was he just sort of allied himself with these guys, and he's like, ddna takes all the credit, take it or leave it, and they took it. So basically, they formed the Union Skyblast, which is awful similar to Starblast, and I have no idea what this town is. I'm gonna go check it out. But basically, they sort of merged together, and it was just, they just sort of made that union, but, in that union, everybody left those other towns. The owners never left their towns, they were still working on it, but nobody wanted to live there anymore because everyone was moving back to ddna, which was the whole point of the union. And I believe we are entering Venom. I don't know why there needed to be glass here, but the owner insisted that there was a glass there. By the time all this stuff was being built, I had built, I think, my third town, actually. I think I was working on my fourth town, and this was going on, and by that time I was the best player on the server. Everyone liked me better than the owner. Basically, this was the town of Venom, and the owner asked me to build with him, just like the owner of rrna said, and I told them no, and they basically started crying. But basically, this owner was just like asking me for advice so much, and I kept telling him add roofs to your houses, and nothing happened, and I kept giving him all these suggestions, and nothing happened. So yeah, basically that's that. Pretty much that, I mean, that was those towns, and later on, after everyone started calling ddna horrible, someone, Barney Bad, decided he was going to make his own server, and this started the grief, what we call the Edgecraft days. They made this server is called Suitcraft, as you can see by the spawn, and basically, so we got a giant suit guy, but basically, they wanted to go with Etchcraft, which was titled after an Etch-a-Sketch. They used all the same rank, colors, they used all the same everything from, it was a dead copy of Suitcraft, except it was laggy. They didn't know how to run a server, and they were taking a whole bunch of players away from Suitcraft because I'm not quite sure why, but a whole bunch of people were leaving to go check it out because the owners were offering, hey, yeah, if you join, we'll make you a mod. Okay, well, I mean, that's enough to get the attention of anyone. All the loyal players, they stayed, and they didn't leave. They left to go check it out for a little bit, but everyone pretty much stayed. The only players we lost were all the griefers and all the horrible players, so we couldn't really argue with that. I forget what happened, but for whatever reason, two owners, the owner of Suitcraft and the owner of Edgecraft, they started fighting, and it was basically like where we were sending a whole bunch of our players over to their server to grief them, and then their server was sending a whole bunch of players over to our server to grief them. And their server was funny because they couldn't figure out how to ban people, so they had to ask us how to ban people. And well, like all their server information, they had to ask the owner of the server to get it working. And you just see how funny that is, because I mean, it was just like a dead war between these two places, and they're asking us for information still. It was so hilarious. Good times. And then the two owners of the servers made up, and Suitcraft held no ill will against Edgecraft. Edgecraft, dyslexic tortoise. I mean, he was a decent player, and he might have not been the best builder, but I mean, he was kind of nice. But he just didn't feel welcome here anymore because everyone felt that he betrayed Suits by joining their server and being one of the 10 owners that they had. But basically, that was he had every option. We gave him every option to come back, but he didn't feel right coming back. Husky was probably the one that was just like, you know, Barney made up and he quit Minecraft. So the owner of ddna quit Minecraft. That leaves the co-owner Husky, the co-owner of ddna, Husky, as the owner of Edgecraft and the owner of ddna. Well, he left Edgecraft, making the owner of Edgecraft dyslexic tortoise. After that, Husky just, I mean, he was on the server, but I mean, he got in arguments with players because his rage, his hatred for this server kind of was still there. Everyone wasn't, I mean, everyone was like, dude, we don't care anymore. Stuff happens, we're all past it. But he just didn't. He just kept going. And so there's always just like that one person that would just like bring it on and just like set him off. And that was that. But finally he just stopped raging, so that was that. And then I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff that happened, and it was, like I said, we could write a book on the server. Speaking of rage, there's this one player that we also talk about, and a lot of people do not know anything about. Ryansterling 55. Suitcraft had an age limit, and I think the age limit was 12 plus. Ryansterling was 8. His brother was 12, and I think he's the owner of that account. Actually, no, his brother had the account and applied. He liked the server, but then for whatever reason, he just like never played. I think he was going to play COD or something. COD sucks. But basically, I'm just gonna get so much rage for saying that. But basically, Ryan, the younger brother, the 8-year-old, he was playing on the server, and he would always rage. He would scam people. He would rage, and like someone in he had a house in ddna, and I loved how all the crap just happened to him. Someone just filled his house with dirt, and he just like logged in one day, and he was spending 5 hours asking people, like, not really asking people, telling people forcibly, remove my house of dirt, remove the dirt from my house because I know you did it. And they were raging, and he didn't actually have the right person that filled his house with dirt. That was actually a kid that lives down the street from us. He goes to my dad's self-defense class, and we go over to his house a couple times. But yeah, it was him. It was Shift. Basically, he filled his house with dirt, and he didn't know it was him. And Ryan was raging, and I just give him the comment. I'm like, listen, Ryan, you've been asking people to remove the dirt from your house for 5 hours. You could have had your house cleaned out by now, and you could have been doing something productive. And I mean, he started yelling at me, but everybody, the entire server was like, yeah, Chaos is right. And he just sort of he just rage quit. And nobody ever removed his house of dirt. If I had world edit powers back then, I would have done replace dirt obsidian and said, you brought it on yourself. He would have rage quit so bad. But basically, he was the most hated player on the server, and he did nothing wrong. That was the problem. We had no reason to ban him. People were actually donating to the server. They're paying the owners to ban him for a week. We couldn't pay him. They couldn't perm ban him, but they were like, yeah, I'll give you $15 to ban him for a week. So they added that to the list, and that was that. That's Ryan Sterling 55. We actually tried to get him on Syrocraft, but for whatever reason he didn't reply. So yeah, I mean, we just wanted him there not to do anything, but just to mess with him, because it was so funny. I would have filled his house with dirt so many times. But yeah, there's no reason to ban him. That was the worst part. Anyway, finishing up on Suitcraft's history, near the end, this world started getting, it was reached its border. Everyone, there's builds everywhere. I mean, as you can see, like, if I'm just flying around, there are builds everywhere. There's nowhere to build. You have to go thousands of blocks away to build something, and you know, most players are not going to go that far. So they decided, all right, we're gonna keep this map. We're gonna open up multi-world, the plugin, and we're going to make another world, and it'll be a fresh start. And that lasted a while. Eventually, everyone stopped playing on this world, so they said, all right, we'll be shutting it down in a couple days. Get your stuff, move it to the other world if you want to keep anything. They won't transfer over buildings. They'll transfer over. You can transfer over items, though. So a lot of people did that, and they shut this world down, and they set this world up for download, which that's how I have it now. And basically after that, server lasted for another year, I think. So it was like almost 2-3 years of total that I was playing on the server, until finally the co-owner Llama quit. And I mean, he was everyone's like favorite owner. And then the owners, they started going to high school, and it just got too much for the owner, and he just sort of quit. And I mean, the whole community was destroyed by it. And because it wasn't like a thing where, alright, nobody's playing on this server anymore, we might as well shut it down. It was like everyone was applying, like the server shut down and people were still applying to play on the server. And we're still filing forums, and I mean, we made all the players. We all just connected. We're all still friends and everything, and that's how we have so many players on our server that were actually from original Suitcraft. Hey, Suitcraft. But basically, since Suitcraft died, we just sort of it was a couple months, I think, half a year, I think, and you know, all us players, we all sort of kept in touch, and we wanted to because I mean, we were all friends, and we all wanted to play Minecraft together, but Suitcraft was gone, and it was like the best server ever. So you know, my friend Dylan Codewild, the owner of Syrocraft, he just logged on to the server one day, and he has his server set up every once in a while that we would play on, and like his IP never really changed. And I see, okay, you know, his IP's up there. I was like, all right, I might as well log in, and I logged into the server, and this is what I saw. I logged onto the server, and I was standing in this exact spot. I'm like, oh, it's my desert city! And I was like, well, did he just make a server and import it over? And I looked around, I'm like, there's my trees, there's my boats, Caledon's over there, Parma's over there. I'm like, this is Suitcraft. He brought the he opened up, he started a server, and like, he didn't tell anyone about it first, because I don't know, I was going on multiplayer, and I just saw his server was up. I was like, oh, okay, cool, his server's up, and I go there, I'm like, I log in, I saw this, I'm like, awesome, it's back, Suitcraft's back. And he's like, yeah, well, I was kind of thinking about reviving it, and we were originally just going to remove everyone's builds and stuff from it. There was builds everywhere, so we just decided to start over, make a new map, same seed, and we copied over my adventure map and the Stillcrest Arena, which were the only good builds on the server. And we were originally going to copy over original spawn, but that didn't really work out so well. So we just sort of started working on it, and we built spawn. We started working on spawn, and we're in the middle of a sort of plainsland here, and we wanted it to be similar to Suitcraft, and without copying them directly, because we don't copy people. Basically, I was like, alright, you know, I really like the idea of the creator. We could have the underspawn down here, which if I come down here, it says you're an underspawn, and we turned it into a PvP arena. Because on original Suits, they would spawn diamonds down here sometimes, and everyone would go and go mine diamonds. Which basically, that was pretty much what we called. There's a player over here. But basically, just sort of went with it, and I built the entire spawn and everything. And again, Fraps isn't loading here, but I built the entire spawn area, and right as I finished, we're like, yeah, we're done. Server crashes. Alright, no big deal, we'll just log back in. We logged back in, everything we did was gone. We're like, no, spawn's gone. So we had to start over. So we actually built spawn twice. So that's why whenever someone says, oh yeah, nice spawn area, I'm like, thanks, I only had to build it twice. That's, I do that to every player that asks that question. Or gives me that statement. But anyway, basically, that's how this spawn was made, and, yeah, that was that. And, we had it was private for quite a while, because we wanted to build a visitor spawn, which I think is, Warp Visitor. Which, I mean, you've all been here. I mean, if you're watching this, turn that on, and, you know, you walk through here, and it says, welcome to Syrocraft. To apply for rank 1, please go here. And the amount of people that make it all the way to spawn and be like, why can't I do anything? You are currently a visitor. You have no abilities other than walk around. Do they not read? No, they don't read. So basically, that's what happened. So we just sort of started working on stuff, and we finally just made everything. We made everything back to the way it was. All the ranks and stuff are the same. Commands are pretty much the same. Servers pretty much run the same too, except me and Code are a lot more creative than the other owners. So we have a lot of stuff planned. We do events all the time. If you haven't seen any of the other event videos, well, we did those too. But for the overall, I mean, history, it's about it. We just opened up the server, and server's been up for, I think, 2-3 months now, like since April something, whenever the first post on the forums page was. So that was when we were like, all right, now it's public. That was what we did, and that is the history of Suitcraft and Syrocraft, and how the server sort of came to be. So, with that said, this is Chaos signing out, I guess. See, you just type "hi guys" and you get like instant response. Isn't that great? Everyone's so friendly on the server. I love it. Whereas most servers, like, everyone just splits off and does their own thing. This server, people do that, but you talk to everybody who joins the server. Whenever someone joins the server, everybody just instantly welcome, and everyone just like spams up their screen with welcome. It's awesome. And yeah, that is Suitcraft and Syrocraft. So it was quite a sad thing to see Suitcraft go, but Syrocraft was born, and we plan on keeping it. We don't plan on abandoning the server like the other owners did. So that has been the history of Syrocraft. This is the history of the server. That's Chaos over and out.